Next, we need to install two things that we're going to use to test and verify that our database is working. First, we want to navigate to Postman download, go to download Postman, make sure this is at postman.com. Again, this will all be in the description down below, and download it for your system here. Next, we want to download Studio 3T, so we'll search for Studio 3T download, go to studio3t.com and download it for your system. And again, I'm using Windows, but they have it for any system that you might be using. Once you have these installed, go ahead and start off by opening Postman. And once you guys have Postman open, it's going to look a little bit different for you. If you haven't used it before, you're not going to have all these requests that you have made before like I do. But what you want to do is create a new request here. And over here on the left, it'll let you choose what request you want to use. And in our case here, we want to test our GET. So what we want to do is type in localhost 4000, and we already have our server running. Make sure that you have your server running or this will not work. And what we want to do is send a GET request to our server. And what you're going to notice is it returns our app is running on port 4000, which is the code that we included in our index.js file right here. So now we can see that our requests are successfully submitting to the server. Now go ahead and open Studio 3T, and in the top left, you're gonna see Connect. Go ahead and click on that. You guys will see any databases that you've connected to in the past here, but if it's your first time using it, it will be blank. Now we want to click New Connection, and what we need to do is specify MongoDB followed by our local host, and this is going to be 27017 for our URL. Go ahead and click Next, and you guys will see your connection has been successfully auto-configured. If you get an error here, you guys typed in something incorrectly, go ahead and click OK. Now we want to go ahead and name our connection. So I'll simply name this video since it's for this video today. Go ahead and click Save. Now you guys can see that our video connection is available. Go ahead and click on that and then click Connect. Now on the left, you guys will know that you're connected to the right one because you'll see the name that you specified. And in our case, it's video followed by your localhost URL. And you guys will be able to see all the other databases that I've created in the past outside of this video, but the one that we want to use today is My Products DB here. So we can go ahead and open it with this little arrow, and you guys can see your collections here. And in our case, we only have one collection. Now to actually go into our database and see the context of it, we can go to our IntelliShell up here, click on that, and we want to go ahead and accept that message. And what we want to do before we run database.get collection is we want to use our My Products DB like so. And just to run this first line here, I'm going to go ahead and click this option here that says run statement at cursor, and you guys will see already on DB My Products DB, and then we can go ahead and run our database.get collection query here using this same line again, and it won't return anything yet because we haven't actually added anything to this database. So it will just show up as blank for now. Now what we want to do is open our product model.js back up so we make sure we get all the correct values here. Now navigate back to Postman, and instead of a GET request, we want to select a POST request here, and we want to add this to our My Products database. So we'll change that here, and then we want to go down here to where it says body, and we want to change this to x-www-form URL encoded. And here it will let us add our key value pairs. And what we want to do for each key is we want to follow what we set up in our product model.js or our schema here. So for our first key, what we want to do is call this our SKU, And for this one, our first SKU value will be 1000. And keep in mind, we have this set to unique. Then we want our name. I'll include a name here. Then we want a price. So I'll include a price of whatever I want here, followed by a description. And you guys are starting to get the point. So I'll go ahead and fill out the rest of these and make sure that if you have it set to type number, you add a number, and string, you set it to a correct string value as I'm doing here. This would be a string here, and this would be a number. And down here for image URL, what we're going to do is navigate back to your AWS, and over here, you guys can go ahead and just copy this URL. And again, to get to it, just click on one of these, open in a new tab, and it will be available right here underneath object URL. So now we can just go ahead and paste that URL here. And if you guys have an error, make sure that all of these keys are correctly labeled, and for any unique values that you need, those are unique, and you're entering proper number and string values where you selected them. And so now what we can do is make sure that, once again, this is in post, and we can go ahead and send this into our database by clicking send. This is the name of our database, but what we want to do is send this obviously into our database, but into our products collection. So I'll go ahead and change this to products. And now if I go ahead and hit send, it will work instead of me getting this error. So now you guys can see that it will return our response, or what we sent in to our database here, as an object. And what you want to do now is you want to go back to Studio 3T, and we can simply run this line again here by clicking this button. And now you guys will see that we have an entry into our database. And like I said earlier in this video, Mongo automatically creates a unique ID for every entry in your database, which you guys can see here. Now I can get rid of products at the end here, change this to a GET request, send it to my server, and you guys can see that it is still successfully running on port 4000. So you want to make sure every once in a while that it's still working if you have an error. So now we'll go back to post, and for the rest of these products, I'll go ahead and add them. And for this case, we're only going to have 3. I added all 3 of my products to the database using Postman. Now I can go back to Studio 3T, and to update what it's displaying here is I can run the DB get collection again. So go ahead and click that, and now you guys can see that I have 3 products with unique IDs and unique SKU values, and all of the information here, including the image URL that we will pull in a minute to display on the front end. Now I want to show you guys how to delete something from this database. So let's say I want to delete this product that I just added here. What I want to do is select this ID by right-clicking, copy value as text, going back to Postman, changing our request to delete, and then in our products collection, we want to delete a specific product with a specific ID. So we'll just go ahead and add a / add our ID here. We don't need this to be a form URL encoded, so I'll just change this to none. And then once I go ahead and hit send, you guys will see that we return product deleted. And if we go back to Studio 3T, run our query again, you guys will see that we only have 2 products in the database. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and add back in that product using our post method, and then re-enabling our form URL encoded, getting rid of this custom ID here, and then just sending it back into our database. You guys will see I can add and delete as many products or items as I need to here. So you guys can see that now it's back in our database.
Tap here to see what happens next.